Hey everybody, project day, project day, project day. We're done with our projects and we're going to present. Don't forget to submit them too. So we'll be getting breakout rooms so we can share with everybody. And then people who are here in class, they can share with the people who are in class if they'd like to, or if they want to jump into a breakout room, that's fine too. So let's get started. We got our warm up. So let me get to that. Today's Wednesday, the May 19th. So we will have a video. So I'm already in there, so I go to core 1, 2, 3, or 4, click on the green folder. And the question says, before we watch the video, it says, do you think science education should focus on the fundamentals of the early principles of science, kind of like we do, or should modern science play a larger role? And explain. So what this means is, the fundamentals of early principles, to me, it's like those are the basics of science and like some really basic science concepts, which is kind of what we teach here in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And some people think, well, maybe we shouldn't because these are things that anybody can Google at any time and they would have the answer. And so should we focus on like some of these basic facts like we've done for many years, or should we change it up? Okay, I only do this because that's what I'm told to do. And I do kind of like the modern stuff because maybe there's our like modern issues that we have, such as the destruction, like deforestation, like the destructions of forests, that's current. There's pollution, there's climate change, there's pandemics like we're in right now, viruses, all that stuff. So maybe we need to learn more about that and like solutions, possible solutions to these issues too. So, and then just kind of explain. So that's what the difference between both of them are. So it says open letter to the president, physics education. At the time when this was done, the president was Barack Obama, which that's why you see his picture here. So we're a couple presidents past that at this point, but hey, I mean, it's still a good video. You could do this for our previous president or our current president, but that's why you see him right there. So here we go.
Dear Mr. President, do you know much about physics? I mean, you're the President of the United States, a country with 5,000 nuclear weapons, birthplace of the world's computing and telecommunications industry, home of the first atomic clock, and creator of the global positioning system. But chances are, if you just took regular American high school physics, you don't know one iota about the science behind these things. No offense. That's because high school physics students across most of America are not required to learn about pretty much any physical phenomena discovered or explained more recently than 1865. Yes, 1865. That's the year the Civil War ended, and well over a decade before Albert Einstein was even born. You know what can happen in 150 years, Mr. President? A lot. Velcro, for one. But let me list some useful and important ideas in the last 150 years of physics that aren't a required part of most standard U.S. high school physics courses. Photons, the structure of atoms, the existence of antimatter, GPS, lasers, transistors, diodes and LEDs, quarks, chaos theory, electron microscopy, MRI scanning, the Big Bang, black holes, star formation, the fact that gravity bends light, the fact that the universe is expanding, the Higgs boson and the weak and strong nuclear forces, and all the rest of quantum mechanics and relativity, and the topic of every single Nobel Prize in physics since always. Basically, most of the important stuff. I mean, Mr. President, imagine if history classes didn't talk about the abolition of slavery, World Wars I or II, the Great Depression, the rise of the U.S. as a global superpower, the Cold War or the Civil Rights Movement, or heaven forbid, the first African-American president. Or imagine if biology classes didn't talk about DNA, or hormones, or cell reproduction, or the modern germ theory of disease, or ecology. Or if geologists didn't talk about plate tectonics. And computer scientists? Well, in 1865, a computer was a person who computed your taxes. Now, if you were lucky enough to have an ambitious teacher or take advanced placement physics, then you might have learned about some of Einstein's discoveries of 1905. Yes, current events! But learning about how Einstein's work helped set the stage for a century of amazing developments in our understanding of the universe is not a part of the standard curriculum. So why, Mr. President, am I addressing this letter to you? Well, you appoint the Secretary of Education, for one, and I do believe that high school physics is somewhat related to education. Now, maybe your education secretary says, ancient physics is already hard to teach to high schoolers, and you want us to teach them modern physics, which is even harder. Students can't really appreciate the beauty of modern physics without fancy college-level mathematics. Rubbish. Ever heard of Carl Sagan, Richard Feynman, or Neil deGrasse Tyson? These great men have been 100% committed to the appreciation and dissemination of the awesomeness of the universe, and we should be too. How else are we supposed to foster and find our future brilliant innovators, inventors, and explorers? How can we expect to educate our citizens for the next century if we don't teach about the last? And that's not to say that we should ignore math, either. On the contrary, math is one of the most beautiful and awesome things in the universe, especially because it allows us to understand the universe. In particular, the last 150 years have borne fruit to perhaps the most drastic changes in our understanding of the universe ever, and these new ways of thinking and solving problems should be the centerpiece of any education in physics. Between you and me, Mr. President, I think we'd better start making physics education more awesome here in the US. Otherwise, the next Carl Sagan or Richard Feynman will come from somewhere with more educational foresight. Maybe even the internet. Sincerely, a collection of atoms known as Henry. P.S. You're probably super busy, but if you'd like to hear about physics education across the Atlantic, I highly recommend heading over to Brady's channel, 60 Symbols, for a
Okay, I don't think we need to know about this other channel. It's okay. So yeah, think about like what they said, what was it, 1865 or something? So there are stuff that we do teach that is past that, but that is kind of crazy. So should we kind of update things? I mean, the video really kind of convinces me like, yeah, something that should be a little bit more modern. Just because it may not have been so many years ago. All right, so think about what you're going to say there, and then scroll all the way down. Shouldn't be too much, but yeah, then go ahead and put in your comment. So again, watching on your own, freeze, pause. All right, we're back. So yeah, today, so it's just time to get out your project, trying to make sure that everything's ready. Give you guys a few minutes to get ready. We'll get the breakout rooms. I'm kind of debating how I want to do this. Maybe just make it random. I know there are some people that want to be with other people, certain people in a breakout room because they're kind of presenting together. I don't know. Maybe I'll let you guys just choose. I know it's the end of the year. So then you kind of like just kind of share what you guys are doing. Try to sell them your product, right? And I'm just going to try to keep an eye or mostly an ear on all of them, which is kind of chaotic. If you guys are here in class, then yeah, I was thinking maybe you just you don't have to necessarily move too much from your desks, but kind of maybe have some people kind of gather over or kind of move your Chromebook over so they can see what's on your screen. If you're in class, you can also go into breakout rooms. It's fine. So we have our presenting. When the whole group is done presenting, which should just take today, then just make sure that you guys click on this link. I'll probably put that link in the chat somewhere. I'll go into the rooms and put it in there. And it's a Google form, so really easy. Just just fill out this form. I changed it up a little bit. Just list the names. It could just be first names if you want. List the names of the people who were in your group, all of them. Okay, it doesn't have to be yourself, but list all of them. And then of the names that you list in the group, which students presented their project today? Of the ones who presented, which ones seemed prepared? Hopefully it's all of them. I don't know. I mean, I'm being very hopeful there. Which students did the best job trying to sell the products, okay? And then please list any students who were not being negative, not being kind, in that breakout room, okay? And then you just submit to me. Cool, so you just hit submit there, all right? So don't forget to submit your project as well, okay? When the presentations are done, if you guys want to go ahead and do your lab stations, that would be great. We do have a Padlet here you guys can look at, so you guys can add to that, and then there might be some other things. If we're really early, then as a class we can find something for you guys to do. But there's always stuff. There's always stuff here when you go to the front page of Schoology that you can find. It's usually over here on the right. Okay, so I mean that's it. Have fun today. Good luck. Can't wait to kind of try to hear some of these presentations as much as I can. So I'll do my best. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Be good. Have a happy Wednesday.